Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the AntonioTalks talk show. Today, I have a guest who I've known virtually for 3+ years, Mark Hopkins, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. What do you think of the setup?
It's great. What people don't realise, it's actually a studio, and this is all green screen.
Yeah, exactly. We're not actually here.
No, we're not here.
By the way, what they actually don't realise is that we are figments of their imagination.
Yeah, they're not actually watching this.
We're virtual reality.
Yeah.
We are artificial intelligence.
We don't go on about this.
Yeah, exactly. Won't go on about this one.
Yeah.
So, Mark, how is everything? How's everything your end?
It's going good. Yeah.
Yeah?
Busy. Really, really busy, actually. And just trying to kind of being a kind of a lone recruiter, just trying to get everything together, making sure that all the clients and
Yeah, that's interesting. A lone recruiter. We need to get into that in a bit. Because
don't call me a one-man band, though, because I can't stand that.
Well, no, we won't. But I didn't actually know that. And that's the power of social media, the perception, which is great. So I want to get into that in a moment. We got a lot to cover in this talk, right?
Yeah.
We've got lots to cover around.
And a lot of drink.
And a lot of drink. So we've got like 12 cans of gin and tonic. 10.
We picked gin and tonic this time for a change.
10 cans of gin and tonic this time because we're trying to be a bit more sophisticated rather than two blokes in a pub with a beer. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like pub beer, that's fine. But it gives me heartburn. So I'm trying a different thing because I don't want to not drink.
Yeah, but you want to get nicely drunk to talk to people.
Exactly, because obviously you find, I don't know if you've seen in our episodes previously, it's about 20 minutes in, then everyone starts getting a bit loose.
Yeah.
I start swearing.
Yeah, I'm trying to not do too many swear words because I
Yeah.
want my little boy to watch this as well.
Oh, okay, sorry. So, okay, we can't swear in this show. I might swear, but
it's all right.
I won't.
He's a sensible little thing.
So you have a son?
Yeah.
Oh, great. How old is he?
He is 6 in July, so 5 at the moment.
6, fantastic.
Yeah, so he's absolutely mental.
I bet it's a great age to be at.
Yeah, clever as anything.
Brilliant.
So switched on.
Everyone says that about their kids, though.
Yeah, well, he's special.
But I say that about my son as well. I don't stop talking about him.
Yeah,
and
I'm the same.
But yeah, I mean, it's great, isn't it? I wonder what he's going to be like at 6. He's 2.5 now, 3.
Oh, he's at that right age.
Yeah, it's good fun. It is really good.
Personality's starting to come out, starting to really discover some stuff. Yeah.
He was. We were in bed the other day, just about 7 p.m. Everyone in bed. Obviously, that's what you do when you're in parenthood. You don't really do anything else. Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
So we're in bed, and I'm like, Leo, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just relaxing.
Relaxing. Words. Yeah.
And then I was like to Leo. I was like, oh, Leo, what did you say? Because I thought I heard him say something. And he's like, I didn't say anything. He's 2.5 years old. Anyway, Leonardo. Right, anyway, Mark, it's not about Leonardo, all right? Stop talking about Leonardo, for God's sake.
I'm really going to do that.
Right, Mark, so tell me, I think for the benefit of everyone out there, obviously, I think I say this all the time pretty much. Most of the people that come on this show, I know them through social media.
Yeah.
But again, I don't really know you. Do you know what I mean?
No,
I've seen you do your shit. You're very active. I love it. I love your videos. And so we'll get into that also a bit later. But tell us a bit about yourself.
So, I own a company called Thomas Lee Recruitment, which we specialise in specialise in engineering.
You and your alter ego.
Yeah, me and Cortana. And Google.
and Alexa.
And Alexa. And anyone else that will join my party. So I do manufacturing and engineering recruitment, mostly across the Midlands, but I do have clients all over the UK as well.
Yeah.
Been in recruitment now for 13 years.
Wow.
I've done a lot in recruitment. I've had shit jobs in recruitment. The first swear word already.
Yeah.
Shit jobs in recruitment. I've had some amazing jobs in recruitment. I've worked for some great companies and I've worked for some crap companies. I've met some phenomenal people and I've met some weird people.
So 13 years ago, what drew a young Mark Hopkins to recruitment?
39 this year, you know.
Wow, you're 39. You don't look that, honestly. And I'm not just saying that.
Thanks.
You look younger than that. That's good.
It's good gin and tonic.
Exactly. Rub that under your eyes.
Yeah. So I guess let me start kind of from the beginning. When I kind of left school, I went into engineering. I went to work for what was only described as the Ministry of Defence kind of trainee engineering thing for kids at 16 that didn't want to go back to school. They wanted to do something with their lives. So I went kind of for this traineeship for 2 years, and then I applied for apprenticeship at RAF St Athan, and then did about 3-4 years there. doing aircraft engineering basically, and then moved from that into started a degree down in Bristol, and that's kind of where I started hearing about recruitment and kind of the sector and kind of what it's about and stuff. But how I got into recruitment, like a lot of people in this marketplace, I fell into it, but I fell into it in a weird way where I was working at the RAC and a guy phones up one time to get his membership renewed, and we're just chatting away. And he goes, I work for a recruitment company. Would you be interested in coming and speak to me? And I was like, yeah, sure. Fuck it. Why not?
Right.
Went to see him. 10 minutes I was in there. He offered me a job. And
Amazing.
that's kind of, here I am 13 years later.
So what was that, 2006?
2005.
2005.
So I think it was like October 2005, I think it was. So yeah.
So 2005 is the heyday really of recruitment, isn't it? 2005.
It was right in the middle of, even for a couple of years after that, just before the recession, it was right in the middle of people making some serious money in recruitment.
Yeah.
People, some of the targets that some recruiters have been given today have come from that that kind of time, where there was money. There was a lot of it. People were doing a lot of things.
So these, you could just. I hear stories about this. I mean, I wasn't in recruitment that long ago, but I hear stories about this around. You could just literally fucking chuck a CV out the door and or email a CV and it'd be a hire.
Yeah.
It'd be a hire.
Well, it's the other one as well. When you put an advert out, you had 10, maybe 15 phenomenal candidates.
Yeah.
Now you don't even get 1 per 10 jobs.
Yeah.
It's
Why do you think that? What's that shift?
There's a few things I think that's going on in the marketplace. At the moment, we are in such low unemployment. All the good people are working for people. And this is where the skill of a recruiter kind of comes into play, where we need to then go off and find the specific people for the companies. Because at the end of the day, what we're here for is to find specifics. We're not here to chuck random CVs at clients. We are here to find specifics on what the client wants. So when a client comes to you and asks you for this specific type of skill set, you have to go and find that. And that's the difference today. Back then, when I started working at Reed, I didn't realise the power of a bigger agency.
Yeah.
And what that drew. And that really did have a following or a grouping of people that believed in that brand and always applied for their jobs with their website. So it was a completely different time. And then when the recession hit, the world's changed.
Was you still in recruitment? Did you work? Did you witness a lot of redundancy?
When I was actually let go during the recession as well.
Amanda, how old are you in the recession?
12.
What year was it?
2008.
12, yeah.
Fucking hell.
That's scary that I knew that as well.
I know, that's really good maths.
Yeah.
So you were let go?
So I was working for a company called Modus, big, massive company owned by Deco now.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed working there. Things changed as they do in a company. I didn't really want to continue down the direction that they wanted to do. I was doing engineering recruitment, working with some of the biggest defence companies in the world.
Yeah.
And they kind of changed towards IT recruitment, and they were moving everything around. My face didn't fit.
Right.
So it was bye-bye, Mark. When that happened, my wife was a PA at Co-op at the time.
Right.
And we kind of looked at each other. We lived in Bristol, expensive house, kind of, where do we go with our lives?
You had the habit of a top biller.
Oh, yeah. We had a big habit, spending lots of money. And then we kind of looked at each other and said, well, we want to start a family. We need to have family around us. So we moved up to Tamworth, which is where I live now. So I've been there nearly 10 years now. Next year, 10 years.
And so now you run your own company.
Yeah, I did a few things before then. I went back to Reed as well, which I'm going to be honest with you, if anyone wants to get into recruitment, go and knock on Reed's door. They're a fantastic company to work for. I really had some great times there. And then when I kind of got a bit greedy, wanted to go in my direction, I don't think I fitted into that culture any longer. So I left and made a few mistakes and then realised, do you know what? You've always wanted to start your own company. You've always wanted to do it your way. And a lot of the politics in recruitment kind of made me just go, do you know what? Fuck it, let's just do it.
And how have you found that transition from being in a very well supported arena to everything's you?
Yeah, it's the first year. The biggest issue I found in the first year was, like all startups, you've got a lot of your own time and you can do what you want with it. You don't have to be sitting there at 9 o'clock doing things. So what I realised very, very quickly, I needed to be quite structured. and going from a structure that was like rammed down your throat to no structure, and then going, hey, just chilling out, kicking back.
Yeah.
I'll start at 10.
Yeah.
And then realizing, structure works. Structure is the key to this.
Why do you think structure's the key?
Because you have to get a lot done in recruitment. There's a lot of elements to it. There's a lot of talking to so many different people. When people phone me up, I really have to look at my notes to remember who I spoke to. Because you can speak to 30, 40 people a week.
Yeah, sure.
So you need that structure behind you. Hence why my best friends are Google and Cortana
and Josh Harrison.
Yeah. Hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
But yeah, and when I got to that point, which was a difficulty for me, because you're on your own, you're doing it all by yourself. People like Josh, I started speaking to, and there's a few other people as well. Tim, another guy called Shane, and we got really kind of friendly, and we thought this would be great. Let's roll this out to other people. Let's have a go at it. Yeah. And then the birth of the Recruiter's Arms came from that.
Yeah, sure. So is that still going?
Yeah, it's not as active as we were 6 months ago, but what it's got is a core grouping of people. I call it my office now because you come into the office and talk shit all day.
Yeah.
This is what I do with these guys.
That's right. That's great.
So they're a good.
So it's like a virtual office, basically.
It is. And people have said to me, it keeps them sane during the day.
Yeah,
and when
sure.
you've got an issue or problem in recruitment, you go there and you're speaking to recruiters. You're not speaking to kind of LinkedIn experts, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're speaking to actual recruiters. And some people don't want to put stuff on LinkedIn.
No.
So they want to have that kind of one-to-one conversation or group conversation with people.
Yeah, of course. So you've got this Recruiter's Arms, and so have you guys ever just thought about just basically just doing your own recruitment company? Are you too selfish to?
Do you know? I guess we're all in different places,
yeah,
and we're all in different kind of parts of our career. I'm a bit selfish. This year for me has been selfish. I'm trying to save some money to do what I want to do with the business.
Fair enough.
And I think some of them are in great companies at the moment. We've always laughed and joked about it. Like, would it be great if we all worked together?
Because I think it would scale fast. Like, it would be a very.
I agree.
Like it wouldn't take you long to really take a good slice of market share.
I mean, it's only been really live a year, and it's not. We haven't poured money into it. I think the most we poured into is about 20 quid for the website, and we haven't really put too much energy into it. It's grown through user content and people just wanting to be a part of something. That's different for a change.
And what's the vision?
We haven't really got one properly. Admittedly, we have talked about how can we kind of make it more interactive. We've got a new website that we've designed. A guy called James has done it, who's one of the moderators. He's thinking of, he's got some great ideas. I think he's finished it, but we're just not kind of discussed what to do with it next, really. This is top secret information I'm giving away here.
Yeah, top secret with my 300 views.
Yeah.
That we'll get on. 300 views. We want 300 views. We need to pass 210 or 235. I think you will, won't you?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so right now we're talking about 300 views, but it's about consistency. So in a year's time, I'll be getting 1 million views.
Oh, well.
Mark my words. Let's put a pin in that date.
Episode 9, he said it.
Episode 9, exactly.
Episode 16.
Awesome.
5 views.
Thanks for sharing that. Your background. It's really interesting.
Right. Yeah.
So I see you as somewhat of a thought leader in recruitment. I know obviously that word gets bandied around, but there are a lot of thought leaders in recruitment, and there are a lot of thought leaders in recruitment.
Yeah,
right. So actually, people who give value.
Yeah.
And actually provide that value, and is quite open and not scared about people taking their techniques. And I feel like that's you, and that's what we try and do. We don't really care, like, who knows, because we can do it. No one can do our social recruiting better than anyone else, or social marketing better than anyone else, right?
I always go by saying that you can teach people to do stuff, but a very small percentage of them will actually take it and do it. So there's never a risk if you teach people how to do things.
Yeah.
I've taught companies how to do recruitment themselves.
Yeah.
And they're still not doing it. They still call me up and say, "Can you help me with this?"
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's the want, it's the education of it, the knowledge of it, and how to do it.
And how have your videos? So what was the I suppose the vision for your videos, because they seem to be really sort of coming into their own now. The first one was great, loved it, but as I can see them developing every single one that comes out, which is great.
It is evolving. About 2 years ago, about 3 years ago, when we started meeting, I was looking around. kind of social media, and I came across you with your kind of motivational videos you were doing. I think you were back at Accenture at the time.
I was, yeah.
And because I knew there was something that when you watch YouTube channels, especially if you're a fan of certain YouTube channels, I don't know if your little boy's a fan of anything yet on YouTube.
The Henry de Hoover. Have you seen that Henry de Hoover songs?
Ryan's Toys as well. Have you seen that one yet?
Oh, Ryan's Toys, yeah. He's that little kid who reviews them.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, he reviewed a crane. I mean, that's a bit crazy. And he was giving a real review. Like he's going into it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But my son is obsessed with these channels.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, there's a couple of channels like guitar playing channels. There's a guy called Leo. I can never remember his surname. He's Norwegian, and he takes pop songs and turns them into heavy metal songs. It's fucking awesome. It's absolutely, and he's
Mike
got
would love that.
millions of viewers, millions and millions of viewers. And obviously you make money out of YouTube when you've got that many. But what I was looking for was someone in recruitment that was doing this. And I couldn't find many people. There were, don't get me wrong, there are people out there doing it. There's one person called the recruitment guy who I think is lovely. He's a really nice guy from watching his videos. And I like what he did. He kind of introduces things, but that's great for his audience. And then he hasn't really activated it in social audience. So I was thinking, what can I do? So I trialed it a few times about 2 years ago, and it was a failure. No one watched any of the videos. So what I did over the years is spend a lot of time in front of the camera, just record and talk.
Great.
And just kind of develop that kind of skill.
Yeah.
Obviously we'll come on to kind of other videos on LinkedIn in a bit and kind of how they've developed. But my opinion is you need to spend a bit of time in front of the camera, learning and kind of honing a bit of a craft before you can kind of go out there and start talking some sort of knowledge.
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's that, but also you need to build your chops in those social channels too.
I agree. Yeah.
So I think 2-3 years ago, again, people weren't really active in the social space.
I agree.
Especially in the corporate world. So like what we were doing, we were just, if we were active, we'd probably just use LinkedIn as a tool to source rather than actually as a place where we're going to hang out on.
And that was the failing of a lot of people on LinkedIn. And I remember I was working for a company, great bunch of guys that was working there, and I used to write a lot of blogs. And one of the guys said today, "Why the fuck are you writing blogs? What a waste of time." What he didn't realise was that was giving me credibility in the marketplace.
Yeah, exactly.
Admittedly, I'm not a big blog writer anymore because
neither am I. I don't know when the last time I wrote a blog was.
I can't even think of the last time. Last time I wrote a blog was before Christmas.
Actually, but long form posts are the form of blogs, aren't they today? If you think about that.
Yeah, but when you do a long form post now, you get rid of that shit. You know, the crap that you put in the blog.
Yeah.
And
the filler.
The filler. And if a blog is about 6-7 paragraphs long, then, it's a blog. But that kind of long form post now is a mini blog, and it gets a lot more views. It gets a lot more likes.
Exactly.
And better methodology.
Yeah. My, so just the filler, that I love the filler because it reminds me of when I was doing my dissertation, and I got a third in my. I only passed for doing it really. And that's the truth.
Attendance.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, it's true. I studied commercial music. Like it was, if you just turn up, you get great. Well done.
Can you mix? Yeah.
I can't. No, I'm singer songwriter.
Oh, really?
None of that shit.
I used to play guitar. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Guitar.
Yeah. I used to actually many years ago. I was actually a singer in a thrash metal band.
No way. I was a screamer in a fucking grindcore band.
Oh, awesome.
I check your thrash metal band and I raise you grindcore.
We had one gig which was in my front living room, and
was it busy?
It was about 8 people in the whole room.
Great.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Neighbours complained. And
exactly.
It was student accommodation. There was a guy called Andy who used to play drums, and we got his drum kit in there, and then there's just enough room for 8 people to stand in the room. Bloody hell.
So anyway, a dissertation, right? So talking about that filler, obviously you've got to get 10,000 words in a dissertation. I don't remember what I wrote in that dissertation. I was just writing, man. I was just going for it, just like literally leading, just writing sentences.
You were like looking at the word count.
Yeah, swear to God, that was what I was doing. I don't recommend that as people, but I didn't turn out that bad. I'm a CEO of a right company, so it's okay, guys.
Yeah. All good.
What do you think of that, actually, grades and shit? Do you think that matters?
Well, I did a comment on LinkedIn which had a very interesting kind of feedback about GCSEs. What's the point to them? Yeah. Because someone quite lately come to me and said, my employers just asked me for my GCSE results and I've got a degree. Why? Why have they done that? And what it is soft skills, because people now think that GCSEs is almost akin with soft skills, like, you know, the basic maths, basic grammar, basic wherever it needs to be. And I get that, but if you've got a degree in physics, it really doesn't freaking matter, or a degree in engineering really doesn't matter, or a degree in anything, you know, it really doesn't matter. So I always said, so what's the point of GCSEs? But what I suggested is we replace GCSEs, because kids are in school until 18 now. We replace them with like a GED kind of system, a general education, where they don't pick subjects like A-levels. They do all the subjects, and then they have a major subject maybe where they want to go in the direction of, and that could be engineering.
But I think there's a problem with that, is that I like to think I'm quite an intelligent person, and I've got a lot of EQ in this world. So so my emotional intelligence is really high. You know, my process intelligence around the sort of fields that I'm in is really good.
Yeah.
My understanding of the fields that I'm in, the market, like I'll crush anyone. But the shit that I'm not interested in, I'll just, if someone tries to sit here and talk to me about how or about pi, I'll be like, sorry, I understand that you're passionate about that, but I'm not passionate about it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think there could be methods or ways of doing. Maybe the major will be kind of advanced maths or something like that, so you can have the basic level of maths and English. And
I get that.
There's a way around it.
When you hit like high school, you should just be able to choose the curriculum that you want.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
The funny thing is, when I hit 16, I had really crap GCSEs, but when I hit 16 and went to college, my brain just exploded. I was absorbing every piece of information, so I felt I was slightly immature for GCSEs. Yeah. So my knowledge came after 16. No, and you speak to some people that had crap GCSEs and then ask them about education. Yeah. They learned after.
In the workspace as well. Yeah. So I went straight into the workspace. I posted to say I went straight into an apprenticeship in hairdressing, and that was fucking sick. It was so good. Learned so much.
But you didn't just learn about hairdressing, though, did you?
No, I didn't. I learned about people. That's it. And
you don't learn about
empathy, which is so important. You know, if you're coming in and you're worried that you're going bald, or if you're coming in and you're worried that you've burnt your hair on straighteners. Yeah. And it may seem trivial, but that shit's real to people.
But some people come in with relationship problems.
Exactly. Some people come in relationship problems. Yeah. Got a lot of those. So I think that what happened in school, and we're going off on a tangent, but this is good.
I always do this.
What happened in school for me was that I was very bored in the subjects. And I got two GCSEs, which is art, religious education and drama.
Oh, nice.
So obviously I'm very I like to think that I'm very interested.
You can play Friar Tuck and Robin Hood, really.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Basic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
We just cast you.
But I think I was just really bored, and so I would just play up. Do you know what I mean?
But that and exactly that with education is when you see a lot of people kind of talking about that they played up during the times they were in school, or they did. I was bored in school. I hated it. But I think what the problem for me, because I was bored in school, I wasn't stimulated.
Exactly. You weren't stimulated.
And when you're that age, you don't know about this kind of self-express, how to do it yourself, your mindset. And now that I'm nearly 39, I kind of I'm a lot more self-aware. So if I'm bored of something,
just
sort it out, Mark. You know what I mean? It's kind of how it works.
That's interesting. Dylan, you didn't go uni, did you?
We do this every show.
Every show, actually.
No, and so Amanda went to uni.
Yes,
got
2-1.
Dylan didn't go to uni, and Dylan's sick. So that's what I just use that. He's just a bad man.
Oh.
So right, okay, cool. Let's move on. We've got lots to cover. All right. So the next questions I'm going to be asking you are around certain things like Xennial, which is I know. So you're a Xennial.
I am.
And do you feel like you're the sort of lost generation? Go on, tell me.
I'm going to pull my heart out now.
Go on, tell us.
And cue music. So, born in 1979, where it was the Falklands War. Well, that was coming soon. And I grew up in the 80s. So I grew up at this beautiful time where mobile phones were for rich people. And there was a boom, Margaret Thatcher, and all this kind of... The music was phenomenal. The music, actually, the best music at the time was all British. I don't know if you watch American films set in the 80s. They all seem to have British music
absolutely.
I came into kind of like the first year of secondary school in the Nirvana days.
Right.
And that's how I look at things in that kind of music kind of eras.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
So I came in the Nirvana days, which is the early 90s. Now, something strange was starting to happen in those days. You know, Spectrums, Commodore 64s. Technology was slowly creeping into the bedroom. And it was...
to the bedroom.
All right. It's not going that way. But what I'm on about, like, you know, kids were playing computer games, and they were, you know, yes, you had to sit there and wait for about 40 minutes to load one scene of a computer game. So technology was coming in. So my childhood was in that kind of starting of technology. Master System, Mega Drive.
Yeah.
They had a really awesome one called Neo Geo. I don't know if you've ever heard of that
No.
one at the time. I think it was made by Nintendo.
Right.
But the Sega Saturn, and there's all these like consoles that came out. We didn't have... if you had a PC, you were rich, basically, those days. The internet was just being... I think it was invented anyway by then, but...
Yeah.
It was entering into the homes and entering into schools. And I remember in 1993, 94, the IT lady said, "Oh, we got the internet on." And we're all like, the whole classroom just turned and looked at the screen, and this very slowly loading web page came up on the screen. And you know, Google was a glint in the Ethernet at the time.
Yeah.
And so we came into technology during our teenage years, during our growing up, our learning, becoming into adulthood. Not many of us at the time kind of understood what technology was really going to do to us. So as we were going into the workplace, we were starting to use the thing that happened at those days was people used to ask you, "Can you use a computer? Do you know how to use Word?" People used to ask you then in the interviews. Today, no one asks that question. It's a skill that everyone should have. Can you use Word? So when we were kind of growing up, that we kind of
How
saw,
fast can you type?
I think at the moment about 60 a minute now, and I can touch type as well.
So wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like my dad, he'll type like this, just with one finger.
Sorry, Mum, but yeah, she types like that.
Even on the iPhone as well.
Yeah.
I'm just like, just use your thumbs.
Just use your thumbs. Yeah. But that's the thing, because all I do all day is this, and
yeah, exactly.
You know, I can retype someone's CV in like 2 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You kind of get used to doing that.
That's crazy.
But yeah, technology-wise, we were kind of at that weird place. Our parents were baby boomers as well. Now, some millennial parents are baby boomers because they've had children a little later on in life. So, millennials and zennials have a lot in common, and I think the problems that millennials are going through now, we were going through exactly the same problems in the late 90s. The same shit was being said to us in the late 90s.
Like what?
Oh, just like you're lazy and you're entitled and all these words that has been used for millennials. We were getting it
Really?
in the early 90s. And sorry, even in the early 90s, actually.
Yeah.
I remember teachers saying to us, "God, your generation are freaking terrible."
Really?
And you think, well, every generation is freaking terrible.
Yeah, to the older generation.
To the older generation. There's a really good...
But actually, no, I don't think that. I think actually, so I look at the young generation, I'm like, these guys are sick. I'm like, these guys are doing it. Because they're actually innovating, and they have the
100%.
tools and resources to innovate, because social technology is still so young, right? So, you know, there's these YouTubers, as you said, out there who are crushing it and making loads of millions because they're just using the tools in a different way because they can. But the fact of the matter is, you know, us, your generation, we were still at... Well, actually, we still can use these tools, but we didn't grow up with them, you know?
Yeah, not the social tools that are around today. No, we grew up with technology in a different manner, and it was used in a different way.
Exactly.
And you know, being a bit of a sci-fi nerd myself, I was really enjoying the fact that technology was creeping into kind of the workplace, and to bring it back to recruitment a little bit, the fax machine killed the courier. So as soon as fax machines came out, the courier's job was almost dead.
Yeah.
It was gone. And then the email killed the fax machine. And then when you kind of look through the history of things, I use email slightly less than I ever did, but I'm using my phone less than I ever did, which is even more extraordinary, and it's pushing more towards social. So the technologies are being superseded by the next kind of evolution that's coming through.
Yeah, and so what do you think about virtual reality? How would that impact recruitment? I saw this sick video the other day from a...
Was it the one in the supermarket?
Nah, it was this this. It was basically like a virtual reality meeting. So this person was standing there, and they were being scanned constantly, and the other person had a headset on, and they could see them, and they could see that person, and then when they jump, they would jump in there. So it was a literal like virtual reality meeting.
I read an article not so long ago, and it was mentioned on Channel 4 News as well. Virtual reality will take up to extraordinary heights if the porn industry use it.
Yeah.
It's basically where it starts.
It's true.
And then it grows from there.
It's true, because that's where a lot of technology is
developed.
Used, either in the army or in the porn industry, isn't it? Yeah, it's true.
War to death or sex.
Yeah, exactly. Death or life.
Death or life. There we go.
There you
Should we
go.
end the show now?
Exactly. Great. So you feel like the Xennials are a lost generation in terms of, do you think you get recognition that you deserve, or would you just want any recognition? Are you guys like the generation like one of my brothers who's a criminal, and has been in and out of prison?
Oh dear.
He's just playing up because there were so many kids that he probably didn't get the attention. Are you going to start playing up because you haven't got the attention? Is that why you and Josh Harrison are always trolling people on LinkedIn?
Josh is the same age as you.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Josh is 28.
Well, he's younger than you.
Oh, bloody hell, Josh. Stop trolling people, Josh, for God's sake.
But he's got a heart of a 90-year-old.
He's a lovely bloke. He's a lovely bloke. Got a lot of time for him.
Me too. I think we are. I think we see them. You see a lot of Xennials play up on social media, and you see a lot of Xennials play up in the media as well. You look at some of the people aged between 30 and 40 on Celebrity Love Island and stuff like that. They're just arseholes.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Like who?
I don't know. I never watched the show.
Who's that one?
Big Brother
George Best's son.
Oh,
Callum Best.
That's the one. Yeah.
He's a lost soul, isn't he?
He's completely gone.
Bless him.
But
I just want to give him a hug.
But these people that are that generation, like the Osbournes, Kelly, and they grew up with money, so they never learned how to carve their way in reality or in the world, so they had money. So that's why when they were younger, they were shits. What they're like now, I really don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Do you remember watching the Osbournes? That was sick.
I loved it. I loved the Osbournes.
Sharon! That was really good. You've seen it.
You've seen the Osbournes.
Bloody hell, I thought it was way before your time.
God, that's like 2003, wasn't it?
So let's talk about recruitment churn. What do you mean by that?
Recruitment churn. So everything that I believe is wrong with recruitment all comes down to this one thing, which is churn within recruitment. A lot of the companies I've worked for, or even companies I've not worked for, you will see that it's almost like a revolving door going into the business.
Yeah.
People are there for 6-7 months. So the issues that candidates and clients are experiencing, I believe, is centered along the symptom, which is churn. The actual problem is a lot bigger and deeper rooted within recruitment. So things like training, return on investment, these things are very done badly by some companies, and they expect people to basically sink or swim. Walk them into the door, here's your phone book, here's your phone, off you go. And normally people ask, it used to be like 1 in 4, and then over the years, 1 in 10, 1 in 20,
yeah, I mean,
1 in 50.
I
and
get
the
what
more
you're saying,
churn,
but shouldn't you have to sink or swim? I mean, the thing is, it's about thriving, right?
Correct.
And I think in recruitment, it takes a certain type of person to. So I think actually the issue is hiring.
You could be right, yeah.
So rather than actually, because not everyone could be a recruiter.
But then it comes down to patience, then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where I've witnessed it, and I've seen people grow very, very quickly, and then at the end of the year, they've lost nearly all the staff, and there's still the original team left at the end of the year. And you kind of think, right, why did you grow? Did you need to grow? Oh, I just want... And it comes down to that factor then, isn't it? Money. I just want more money. I want more money. And they're growing for the wrong reasons, when they should be growing for reasons to strengthen the business, to make the business a bit more kind of worthy of work.
Do you think if the industry was retained, then that would solve that problem?
I'm in a very, very small minority when it comes to retained and contingency. I think retained needs to be utilised in situations where is necessary to be used. You can't. There's no point using retained recruitment for industrial workers, for instance, because they churn out the door left, right, and centre. Maybe some sort of subscription fee would probably be best for those type of kind of work. But I believe there is a market for contingency if done right. I believe more in reducing your agency list to 2, maybe 3 at maximum, but picking those 2 or 3 to do certain focus jobs for you that you believe they're good at doing. So there's still a place for contingency recruitment.
The challenge for employers, though, is that they don't understand where these, like, which agencies can support in these verticals.
Yeah.
Until Recruit comes along.
Until Recruit comes along. But also, when you look at some of the agencies out there, you know the ones who specialise in certain things. But because they, going back to churn, because they make a lot of noise on social media about applying people and hiring people, employers and candidates believe that they're in some sort of really awesome growth, so they got all the jobs, when it's not actually entirely true. The people that they employ will get all the jobs for them. So it's this weird kind of cycle that it's kind of stuck in. And I honestly still think it's deeply rooted in churn. I really do.
Yeah, I do. The thing is, I think the role has. I think where it's. I don't think it's churn is obviously the symptom, as you said. For me, it's like, right, so how do we change our culture to be a bit more facilitating of people that maybe aren't these high-flying, sharp, top biller Dans, watch-wearing, Maserati driving...
Cartier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know. But that works for some companies, though. I think,
but I it works because it's just they've got so many people just fucking hammering, but out there, just like just going for it, right? So they've got all these people doing that, and that's why it's working, because you can just because there's so much noise and there's so much just literally just higher, and that's it, and they're making a lot of money, but down the line, when it comes down to experiences, everyone is now defined. Everyone's looking for experience. Yes. Do you know what I mean? They're looking for experience.
Yeah. And
so those who, I think, experience is the ones where the recruitment agencies that offer those great experiences will win.
Yeah, I agree. But when coming back to kind of those Billa Dans and so forth, they make up about 20% of a company. Or Debbie. Or Gary, or Gallerina. I don't know. We've got to be equal here.
Yeah, exactly. They can't just be English and sounding names.
Yeah, so
diversity.
Mohammed as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Top biller Mohammed and
yeah, exactly. That's right.
Right, we got that out of the way.
I'm glad we got that one out of the way.
Those people make up about 20% of a company, but produce about 80% of the revenue. The 80% of the company in most of these agencies, from my experience...
That is the model, though, isn't it?
I think that's the churn.
Yeah.
And they only produce about 20% of the revenue. So there's this noise that recruiting agencies can make, where they're being fantastic. But the true fact is that there's a very small percentage of the people at the top making most of the money. And what agencies, rightly or wrongly, are trying to do is replicate that. And this is one of my things I'm trying to do at the moment, is work out how do I do that for 100% of the time, or at least 90%.
Yeah.
Reduce the churn.
Yeah.
So if you look at your company right now, and your company is 20% of the top billers and the rest are kind of churn, then that is your churn, 80%. So you need to really work on that.
How would you sum up a recruitment agency culture?
Depends who you work for. Every company I work for had some brilliant people working for it. I really enjoy working with some of the people I've worked for. I have rarely come across a shit company, but when I go for an interview with a company, I kind of measure the people that work there as well. So I've kind of, Do
you like recruiters?
I love some of them. So, not all of them though. I think the ones I don't mix with, they know what I'm about. And even when they watch this, the ones that probably go dislike are the ones that probably I'd never mix with anyway.
If you're going to dislike, why don't you comment?
Yeah, comment as well. Why?
Exactly. So tell us why you don't like us.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
But what we're trying to do is create experience, like you say. What they're trying to do is make money.
Yeah.
There's two different things.
No, but there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with making money. And we're in a capitalist society.
I'm a total capitalist.
Yeah.
I am absolutely total capitalist. But I'm proud of that. Like there's this type of the thing is, you can be a total capitalist, but you don't have to be an arsehole about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can add value and make a lot of money. You know, and that's those are very correlated. Like if you add value, you're going to make more money in the long run. If you do things that are ethical and they're right for that business or that client, you're going to make money.
But then people align themselves with the values of the company that they believe in as well. So if I try to lead with my values for what I do, and the clients that I got that work well with me seem to have very similar values.
Yeah.
So
Dylan, what do you think
Oh,
about what we're talking about capitalism?
He's
Come on,
just filming
come over
us.
here. You don't know what it is? Capitalism is is it a monetary system? Is it an economic system?
It's an economic system. Well, you got communism, which is what Russians used to be, but China still is, which is a weird capitalist communist society.
Sort of, yeah.
It's really strange. But many, many years ago, there was a war, basically a Cold War, between communism and capitalism. Capitalism is what we live in now, where
It's basically,
like the American dream.
you offer a service and you get paid for it. You know, it's all and your prosperity is determined on how much cash you have. Whereas communism, there was no prosperity. It was
everyone had equal share.
Yeah.
Certain people in society had more precedent over others. Weird thing.
But the thing is, you could go like you would have the same car, the same clothes, the same fucking
house.
shoes, the same house as someone who maybe did a role as a CEO.
Yeah.
And you're a video producer, so you'd have the exact same. No one would be any better. No one would be any different.
There were certain people in society that
they had their own supermarkets, didn't they?
That's right. And a bus driver had a better credential than a doctor because a bus driver helped people to get somewhere, whereas a doctor helped people very individually.
Yeah.
It was really strange how that worked. My brother told me this, so if it's wrong, blame him.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, society was really strange in the
The thing is, capitalism is based on growth, profit, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it's based on. So the thing is, the growth is finite. You cannot.
That's right.
It's finite.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have situations like we have today, where resources are being harvested and held, so that we can keep these resources when another resource goes, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is, because it's finite, your growth is dependent on the supply of what you have, and that's finite.
Yeah.
So there is only a certain amount. Only certain people can win in the end of it.
Yeah, and the people that normally win are the people which are, I hate to use the word cheating, but they're the ones which are gaming the system.
Exactly.
I think it's probably the best word to use.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, interesting. So tell me about these videos that you've been doing, and how have they impacted your business?
Okay. At the moment, I'm in this strategy of creating videos which answer what I believe some people's problems are at the moment whilst finding a job. There's one or two of them which are going to be aimed towards clients as well. The response to them has been any depending on the flavour of the month for certain people. So, I mean, one video got nearly 300-400 likes, another video got 15.
400 likes?
Yeah.
On LinkedIn?
On LinkedIn, yeah.
Oh yeah, LinkedIn's a good. I was going to say to you earlier. So the reason, another factor into why your YouTube channel didn't do so well a couple of years ago was because we didn't have video on LinkedIn.
That's right.
So now you've got video on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's the best channel for driving traffic for myself too.
To you.
But that's why that's why I'm focusing a lot on Instagram now, because I'm like, LinkedIn has started to, and this isn't a conspiracy either, I'm telling you the truth, right? LinkedIn have started to hinder my content from being viewed, because because they basically
Have you broken 1 million views on things?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why then.
Yeah. So I've broken 1 million views on a number of pieces of my content, and now they're putting me down the algorithm, so no one's seeing my content. I'm getting like 4 likes on shit. 4 likes. I'm not shutting it all down.
Yeah. Move over. Let someone else try now.
I'm shutting it down. I'm closing the company.
But maybe they keep playing with that bloody algorithm though, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
One week it was put links in. Next week, don't put links in.
They love it when I kick off. I know, that's the thing. They do keep playing with the algorithm, and that's what our job is to do as a business, is to keep looking at the algorithm and keep understanding how we can game the shit out of it. But at the same time, it's LinkedIn. They don't have. Why do they think they have the power? So, do you know? There's 2 things now. So this is.
I'm going to learn something here.
Yeah, this is their new strategy, right? LinkedIn, they basically do. So if a post starts gaining traction, they get one of their team gets notified, and they actually do human verification of that post. They actually do a human look over that post, and they decide whether they're going to continue to keep that post from scaling.
That's interesting.
Or up or down, basically. So that means that LinkedIn are determining our content that we're seeing.
So
and that's power, isn't it?
That is power.
So basically, they're saying, right, well, my judgment... So I could be a person who's into social justice, right, for instance, and I'm a social justice person, I work for LinkedIn, and this is just hypothetical. I believe in social justice, who doesn't? But then there's someone who comes along who's putting their freedom of speech out there, and they're going, right, I think that there isn't a gender pay gap or something like that. And so then that social justice person who works at LinkedIn, they could down that because they're subjective and they're like, actually my preference isn't that. So what I'm going to do is basically not let that post scale.
Yeah.
So that basically eliminates freedom of speech.
It's almost like a communist country.
It's almost like a communist country. So we were talking the other day around, how do we solve the problem of social feeds? Because what with Cambridge Analytica, so the problem is that there are social feeds on every channel that basically there's too much power that these companies have, and if you know how to game those feeds, then you can game the feeds.
But it comes down to money, doesn't it? Gaming some of the
decentralize the motherfuckers.
True. Yeah.
And it's not a bad shout, because if you're a social network and if you're about your community, so if I'm Facebook and really they're about building community, let people own the feeds rather and have it as a democratic type thing around what type of shit you put out there.
I want to know who the arsehole in LinkedIn that let Oleg promote himself a little bit more than normal.
You don't like Oleg, do you?
I can't stand him. I blocked him, by the way.
You blocked him. Oleg blocked Ian. You know, after our first episode, Oleg blocked Ian. And I love Oleg. I think, mate,
but isn't Oleg?
But Oleg is an absolute god, because Oleg created the culture that we're in now on LinkedIn.
Yeah, but everything was Oleg, and I was getting really annoyed. Like, I switched on my LinkedIn, Oleg everywhere.
I love Oleg.
I nearly bought an Oleg T-shirt. You know,
is there Oleg T-shirts?
I don't know.
There should be. We should create merchandise.
Oleg
Mike.
merchandise.
Can we create merchandise, please? I want to create AntonioTalks merchandise, and we're going to do this. You can buy now. Oleg T-shirts.
Oleg. I hate Oleg.
Can you do that for me, please?
Oleg unliked me, or Oleg blocked me.
Can you do that, dude? Great. He's going to do it. Awesome. We're going to do Oleg T-shirts.
Cool.
You can buy them for £10. You can say, I was Olegged.
Oleg employed me. I was one of the employees.
Don't Oleg me.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so let's talk about bad management.
Oh yeah, bad management. But this is kind of coming from that churn. So the symptom is churn, and one of the issues within that is bad management. And
what is it? What is a bad manager?
My definition of bad manager is someone that I'm a little spoilt because I've read Simon Sinek's books, so I love the fact that
you're a big Simon Sinek fan.
Until he started shitting on millennials, and do you remember that famous kind of?
He didn't shit on them. He was talking about. He was praising them.
No, he was really.
He was saying that the issue is that the perception of millennials is that they're lazy and this shit, but actually it's our job to create that culture. So it's like what you were saying. It's your job to create the culture.
I disagreed with what he was saying on it, and maybe he was edited in a way to make it look like he was shitting on millennials. Yeah, because there was a few versions of it out there as well, actually.
Fake news.
Yep. But I do enjoy stuff, and I do like the fact the things like Leaders Eat Last and Golden Circles and stuff like that, and it all comes down to how you run a business and how you engage with your staff.
Yeah. And
if you're not engaging with your staff and understanding their problems and their issues and what they're going through day to day, then you're a shit manager. Because that's important.
See, the thing is, I'm in two minds. Like, I believe that, yes, we need to, and I'm an avid, I'm a conductor, what do I call it? A fucking practitioner of this shit. I'm a conductor. Yeah. Excuse me, I'm a practitioner of this in my business, where I like to engage them, ask them, how can I support you? What's going on? Let's talk about it. Let's go through it. And that was all through my learnings at Apple and the way they did that. But I'm also of the other belief that actually, that type of manager and that type of experience that you have as an employee needs to be earned, because at the end of the day, I will give you that time, but if you are giving your all to this business, and that's it, and obviously some people can't, and that's because, at the end of the day, this is my business and it's my dream, but we can get people on board who believe in those values and those culture.
The culture you're creating, when a new person comes in, will go, oh yeah, this is the type of culture, right? Get down, work hard, and earn that kind of respect or earn that kind of experience from that. If you go into a company and it's shit, the management is shit, then there's going to be a bit of a stand back from that particular person.
You're right, actually, yeah.
So you can't suddenly switch from bad manager to good manager in that scenario. You've got to be consistent. You've got to be... I get what Simon is saying about being a leader. I think you still got to be a bit of a manager as well, though. You still got to be able to go, sorry, mate, no.
Because do you think like some of this shit is so utopian?
Yes.
It's
some
like,
of it is a bit too
utopian.
kind of Disney.
Is, the experience, like, you've got to look at it, and the social science tells us that the types of work environments or companies that thrive are the management have certain characteristics, and it does tell you this. There is data that tells you this. So you've got to look at it from that perspective and say, most of what Simon Sinek is saying at the moment is actually it's really nice. I love it. It's really nice to hear.
It's good,
but it's an experiment.
Yeah, and so,
there's no proof that what he's saying works.
Where for instance, Leaders Eat Last, he spent a lot of time with I think it was the Marines,
Yeah.
And he got this kind of where the troops went to eat, and then the actual CEO or the CEO of the team went to get their food last, and this is where the whole thing came from, the whole premise came from. So what he observed was that the leaders let their people go first to eat their food, and then they will eat afterwards.
Fuck these lot.
I know, I'm
going first.
I'm fucking in the front of that. And especially if it's steak or burgers, I'm there.
Nah, I'm joking. I like that. I do like it. It's nice. It's a nice idea.
Nice, but in the military, you still get bawled at if you get shit wrong. So, you're in war. You need to be shouted at. You need to be told, because you're programmed in a certain way in those situations.
You know what I think it is? In life, there is a narrative, and a lot of people like to have an enemy, and Simon Sinek's enemy is leadership.
I think he's had a bad manager.
And that's it. I think he's had a really bad manager in the
or
past.
a really shit dad.
But honestly... all that.
Yeah.
No, but I think I love the stuff he says, and I do. But I think also that everyone just treat each other nice.
That's the key is, as a manager, when you look at your staff, you can't just go one stick and just beat everyone with it.
Yeah.
Someone might need the beating, but it's not everyone. So you've got to manage people in certain different ways. So as a manager, you've got to understand how to manage a person differently to the next person. I think I call it management intelligence, but that's for some MIs for KPIs. But I call it being a bit more kind of EQ and IQ at the same time, but understanding that people are motivated in different ways.
Do you know? I would sum it up, and I would, because I was like the last word.
I'll go for it.
No, I'm joking. You can respond to this. I think. Do you not think it's maybe really around have their best interests at heart?
I think so.
So with me, I have these guys' best interests at heart, and that is the truth. Do you feel that, Dylan? We say it because they can't hear you.
Yeah.
Say it now.
Yes, I'm
Say
sure you have our best interest.
Amanda, do you think I have your best interest at heart?
Yes, Antonio.
Samantha, do you think I have your best interest at heart?
Yeah.
Diego, do you think I have your best interest at heart? Of course.
Put the gun down now.
Yeah, exactly. No, but that's what it's about. It's like have people's best interests at heart.
But also it's about, I think a little piece of management as well is about convincing them that, believe in me.
But being a bit of an arsehole as well. Like, you have to, not an arsehole, but actually being a bit of like pushing them out of their comfort zone. Because I want to have their best interests, but their interests sometimes may be comfort. And it may be not to develop.
A brilliant manager, by the way, pushing people out of their comfort zones in a way where they don't feel threatened, or in a way they don't feel they believe, and that's coming back to the buy-in.
Let's ask Dylan. Dylan, sit down. Tell him what you think.
I don't want to sit down.
He doesn't want to sit. He hates being on camera.
Stick.
Right, Dylan. What do you think? So, what is a good manager?
You can't hear me anywhere unless...
Come here.
He's going to edit
Come
himself
here.
out, you know.
Speak into this.
What did you ask me?
What do you think a good manager is? Come on. No, don't tell me what I want to hear. How do you want to be managed?
It's probably a really good question to ask someone.
It's individual to everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's how a good manager will know.
Or wrong answer. There's no specific
how would you like to be managed? Or every now and again, can you please kick me up my arse? You know, how would you like to be managed?
I think we all need
Every now and again, just give me a big hug.
But I also, but the thing is, a team manages a manager. Do you know that? Now this is some Simon Sinek shit coming out
Oh,
here.
here we go.
A team manages a manager. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to create a video on this. Because
a team does manage a manager.
because
you do, yeah.
you know they need. It's their job to keep me in check.
But when that happens, is when your company, when your people believe in what you're saying,
Yeah.
and trust you,
Yeah.
they will manage you. Your job's almost done then.
Yeah, and that's it. The thing
You
is,
can make yourself redundant then.
yeah,
when
exactly.
that happens.
That's it.
And the team is managing your business for you.
Exactly.
You can go on holiday.
I'm going to go. I'm going on holiday to Cos, and I'm
Yeah.
going to sit down and be like,
I
I know Dylan's managing that shit.
I
You know what
can't get.
you as well, 'cause Mike's got
Mike's not here. No, we're going to get a contractor in. If there's any designer contractors out there that need a job for 3 weeks, please apply to me on LinkedIn or comment here, and someone will get back to you. Thank you. Love you. Bye. Right.
My problem is I can't get Alexa to do that. So
No, exactly. Yet.
yet we can go into that if you want.
Yeah. So, future of recruitment. Let's talk about this. Where is it going? Where is this?
Everyone you've asked that question to in your. I was going to say podcast in your talks.
Yeah.
They were both, weren't they?
Everyone's kind of.
I know they were
deflected
both, but SoundCloud have basically restricted us from uploading any more podcasts
Shut up.
because
They're only
they've-
allowed 3 hours.
you're only allowed 3 hours and you've got to pay for more. SoundCloud haven't offered me enough value to make me pay for more.
I love it when stuff people do that.
I'm like, SoundCloud, calm down, will you?
We get that with job boards. Job boards do that to us. Well, we're going to charge you more. We've got no value from you. You're going to charge me more for something I don't fucking
SoundCloud,
get
calm
return
down,
from.
will you? Like 3 hours. Okay, I understand that this is your model.
Yeah.
But that's probably why you closed down last year and made 50 people redundant because
Oh, is
people
that
don't
what
want to
happened?
pay for that type of shit. Yes, it's because like just offer it free so people adopt your service.
They
adopt it.
cancelled now.
You could probably just create some
know what
sort
I'm
of
saying?
blog download on your website now and just do it that way instead.
Well, future is everything.
Yeah. But the future recruitment, but people that have answered this question
Yeah.
for you seem to have said, oh, we don't know. I generally think that the direction it's all going in at the moment is we need to be a lot more focused on social. We need to be a lot more focused on kind of, when we talk about storytelling earlier on, we need to be more focused on experience, and it's going down this route more and more.
What do you think of Recruited now that you've seen the platform?
You know, the first original Recruited, I didn't like, and I said that to you.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Where you're going is definitely a challenge to LinkedIn, and there isn't really one out there at the moment.
No.
I think people at the moment, again, are a bit disillusioned with LinkedIn. They don't really kind of... people aren't going. And it's a bit like people leaving Facebook, admittedly, and they come back 2 days later. But they are not really engaging in LinkedIn like they used to. They need a better user experience. And I don't think there's anything out there that can do that. Facebook is just... I don't even want to start with Facebook.
What about Recruited?
So far, what I've seen, I'm impressed. I will admit, I am impressed. It is going in the right direction from what you show me.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to have a go at it when you guys kick off.
Yeah, when we launch it. So we were meant to launch this week, but the thing is, I don't want to launch a shit product. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that
Make it
everything,
right. Yeah.
the basic foundational elements of our products are there. But as you can see earlier, it's all there. It's just hooking everything up now, and
Yeah.
we're almost there, guys. So anyone in our testing community who's worried about they didn't get an invite, we haven't sent them out yet. But trust me, when you get these invites, when you start experiencing Recruited, literally you're going to have a really good time, and it's designed for content, which is, as you said, storytelling. So, previous news of a previous day. Let's whip it up. Welcome to previous news of a previous day. So, we were talking about what news should we cover earlier on. So, what do you think of this segment, by the way, as a consumer of our program?
It was nice that you introduced it. It's great. Yeah.
No, what do you think? So, from the previous shows,
Admittedly, when you kind of have an opinion about the news and people kind of like, I don't know.
yeah,
That's the problem.
yeah, exactly.
That's the issue.
This is the issue.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about Russia poisoning Mr. Skripal?
Well, it's not nice, is it? No. No. I think it's a fucking shit show for political situation at the moment. Yeah, totally.
I mean, to be honest, admittedly, I haven't been following it that much.
Have you not?
No.
So
I've been
do you wanna
busy
know-
in America. Do you know what I mean?
Let me give you the highlights.
Opening offices.
Let me give you the highlights. So some guy that used to be a Russian spy
Yeah.
got poisoned.
Yeah.
It turns out
With
on
his daughter.
With his daughter.
In porridge. Dylan said it was in porridge.
well,
I read an article that said it may have been in porridge. But
when it happened, they thought it was in Zizi's or something like that. It was like a
shit.
restaurant.
because that's where they were.
That's
before
where it was,
they-
yeah. So they in a park. That's it. And then Boris Johnson said it was the fucking Russians, right? And they tweeted it and everything. And everyone in the Houses of Parliament were ready to push the big red button and kill all the Russians. And one person, which I'm semi kind of all right with, is Jeremy Corbyn. Actually said,
I love Jereza.
yeah.
Jereza.
Should we, check the evidence first? That little thing. Because if you're in a jury,
Were they actually
that's
going to start
important.
nuclear war?
No, they weren't going to. But they were started checking Russian diplomats, which spies apparently,
Yeah.
out the door. And then the Americans went, well, we're going to chuck ours out. And then it cascaded from there and everyone started doing it. And then Jeremy Corbyn's like, we still haven't got any fucking evidence.
Yeah.
Come on, people. They sent the evidence to Porton Down, and I think they sent it to, which is the funny thing is, they said that Porton Down was the leader of the world chemical weapons testing facility. And Porton Down have come out quite recently and said, we don't know if it's the Russians. And they're not the leading.
I'm not being funny, but
NATO one is the OPC or something like that. OPC.
it's very difficult to understand to know who did it. How would you know?
Well, it could be. You can remember, right? Russia went to Syria. There was a lot of chemical weapons involved in Syria. Maybe a rogue state took these chemical weapons. There's plenty of enemies of Russia out there. Ukraine being one of them.
So it could be a false flag.
It could be a false flag. It could be a Jason Bourne incident. It could be anything. It could be a bunch of old KGB spies that really had it in for this guy for being a double agent.
It could be Agatha down the road who just got her hands on some dodgy chemicals.
Yeah. But she thought it was ecstasy.
Do you know what I mean? I mean,
Give it away for free.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Maybe the dropping
It
partners.
could be anything. And the fucking fact of the matter is,
Door handle.
this is what pisses me off about the media is that like it could be anyone, but everyone goes on like like they're creating this narrative and this story like it is for definite this demographic, but actually,
Conspiracy theorist to me though is saying something else.
what is he saying to you?
When shit like this happens, look at the news underneath it.
North Korea, you seen North Korea news recently?
Yeah, that's a
So the interesting thing, I was going to take a screenshot and post it to you guys yesterday in the Slack channel saying, now UK are saying, MPs in the UK saying that North Korea will soon have chemical weapons that can reach UK. So now we're on that propaganda drive.
Yeah,
so
we are.
now look 4 years now a lot of sort of people will start believing that news and go, oh God, we better do something about that North Korea.
I got a friend.
Like Kim Jong Un on his train.
I got a friend who's a real big conspiracy theorist when it
Really?
comes to stuff like this. And whenever you see stuff about the big countries, look underneath the news. Look at what's really going on underneath the news. And it'll be things like cuts to this, cuts to that. And what they do, this is a good story, whilst we're getting rid of a load of people's mortgage money at the moment.
Yeah.
And the support to disabled people and all these little things that the government is doing. But the big news are detracting us and they're just taking stuff away in the background. And
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I love a conspiracy theory, but that is exactly what it is. It's conspiracy.
And that's the problem. We're in that world.
The thing is, you can't...
Fake news.
You don't know if that shit's happening or not. Well, you can tell actually if cuts are happening because you can see it, but that may actually be a real story. The thing is, you just have to think critically about this shit and go,
you got to.
What the fuck is going on?
You've got to put your thinking cap on. With that whole Cambridge Analytica thing, all my Facebook friends really didn't give a shit. Because they were going to vote Brexit either way, or they were going to vote for whoever they voted for. Some of my American friends were going to
I
vote
watched
for
a
Trump.
news article last night. Did you see Channel 4's news last night?
I did catch it. Which one was it?
So they went actually to Facebook's office.
Oh yeah, and he was knocking.
And he was knocking on the door. And what was it, Jon Snow?
Jon Snow.
And
I love Jon Snow.
He was knocking on the door. And he was like, "Oh, seems like no one's going to let me in today."
And it was literally like this.
That sounds like Bane, doesn't it?
And then they went to Calgary. No, not Calgary. They went.
Yeah, they went to
Canada.
Canada, and they were chasing that other company round the bloody London.
No one knows.
Bloody hell, that was like a wild goose chase. So I think, with that too, it's like, did they influence the election? Because they didn't even influence that. They were massive on the African election that happened.
Yeah, but he lost, though.
He lost, exactly.
Yeah.
So Is this just a song and dance about nothing?
I think it is, and it's a distraction.
Were they just a marketing team?
Do you want my conspiracy theory of it? Oh, drop the phone.
Exactly.
Do you want my conspiracy theory
Or
of
chucked it.
Right, GDPR's coming up next month, right?
Yeah.
It's a big change in data, big change in everything and how things work in the data world. And what the government is doing now is pushing these stories out into the public and talking about changing the world, changing the way data is processed. And the public are all saying, Jesus, the public are all saying things need to change. And the government going, we're going to make sure it changes. GDPR comes out and the government's going, see, there we are, we changed it. Not realising that this shit was happening 4 years ago in the EU.
Yeah, exactly.
This out. And anyway, so this is my conspiracy theory of it, is that the government is pushing these things to the limelight and then claiming the credit for GDPR coming out and then EPR next year. There'll be something before EPR next year.
Yeah.
I bet you.
So are you GDPR ready?
I am 90% complete, so I've got a few bits and bobs and I'm going to push the button. I'm actually going to do a video as well for my GDPR.
It's so
It's
boring,
an exclusive.
isn't it? Like that GDPR is so boring.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking hell, can't wait till it goes.
But if you've really followed, and I mean really followed DPA,
I haven't.
Yeah, well, if you really follow DPA, GDPR is a bolt onto it, which is really needed in some sectors, like double glazed in sales and charities and stuff like that. But then in the recruitment sector, it is a bit of a headache. But I think people are getting to grips with it, and I think we're going to hopefully be the leaders in this world in the recruitment sector when it comes to data.
Great.
I hope.
So, it's been an interesting talk, Mark.
It's been brilliant.
How have you found it?
I found it really well and right in front of me as well.
So, are you going to watch this? Are you going to watch yourself?
I hate watching myself. I don't edit it myself. I just stop listening.
Yeah.
But no, I think I'll watch it. Yeah.
See, I haven't watched a full episode yet of AntonioTalks talk show. No.
I hate, like I say, I hate watching the whole episode myself, but I have to do it sometimes to review what I've said and done. And because this is in one continuous take,
I know, it's interesting, isn't it?
It's going to be very interesting when I watch it.
Have you noticed some of the shit I've said sometimes? You're like, oh fuck, what's he said that for?
Yeah, you go off on a tangent and then it cuts. Good editing.
No, he doesn't even edit it. But yeah,
Well, I do edit it, but I don't.
no, it cuts to different stuff.
Yeah, you flip the cameras, don't you?
What do you think of my tangents?
I like tangents. I'm a tangent man myself.
Yeah.
I always, when I'm speaking to candidates, I'll go off on tangents.
I think it is part of the show, isn't it? It's like
it's part of the show and it's part of you.
Exactly, and you cannot, and that's another thing, is that everyone is trying to be something else online, aren't they?
We're trying to be genuine here, and that's the key to this.
What I like about you is that you are very authentic on social media.
Thank you.
Like
What you see now is what I do on social
exactly.
media.
What I see now is the exact same person. And do you feel that about me?
Yes, 100%.
And that's important because you know everyone's trying to be the next fucking Gary Vaynerchuk or something like that.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
What's Gary V?
Gary V.
Yeah.
You love Gary V,
Do
didn't
you
you?
love Gary V?
I didn't, and I started doing it, and I was like, Gary V's really.
That's why he's wearing a grey T-shirt.
I can't stand Gary V
Yeah,
or Grant Cardone.
Grey Gary V look.
Honestly,
yeah, exactly.
I can't stand any of them. Grant Cardone, another one. I can't.
You can't?
I can't stand them. I don't know why. They're all trying to sell you bitcoins or something ridiculous like that.
He loves Gary V.
Although I did watch one with Gary V and he did say something quite profound, but I can't remember what it was. And I followed him, and then his shit came afterwards, and I was like, unfollow. I'm fucking enough of this already.
Did he sell to you at the end?
Yeah, he tried to.
Amazing.
There was a webinar I went on the other day, 50 minutes of showing us cars and houses, and then tried selling shit.
Sounds like Tay Lopez. Have you seen him?
Oh,
He's another one of those lot.
oh, yeah. He challenges the people who call him fake, even though we all know he's fake.
Here I'm Tay Lopez.
He's probably going to comment on this now that we've said that.
Tay, come on the show.
Yeah, come on,
Right, cool. Really good to have you on, buddy. Thanks very much.
seriously,
We didn't actually finish our gin and tonics. We almost got there.
Well, I got 3 done.
We got
Ish.
I don't even know how many I've had. But yeah, we this show will be going out on Monday. So this
it
Monday
Monday?
coming. Yeah. Yeah, is that right?
Yep, Monday.
Monday coming. We're gonna put a what are we gonna do? We're gonna put an advert out.
Yeah, there'll be an advert out.
There'll be an
This week,
advert out.
might be two.
Absolutely. We're gonna put an advert out. What today?
Friday.
This is Friday.
It's Friday today.
Yeah, I don't suppose that's
This afternoon. We're gonna put an advert out this afternoon.
It's because of Bank Holiday Monday's throwing me.
Yeah, it did throw him off a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was Wednesday.
So
Yesterday.
get whipping out those SD cards.
So we're going to do, this show's going to go out Monday. Promote it. Thanks very much for joining. The next show I have is, to be honest, I don't know who the next show is. we're going to book someone in for next week, next Friday, and
Josh Harrison, hopefully.
Josh Harrison, see if he can come down next Friday. Yeah. Next show I have, we don't know who it's going to be. We're going to book them in. But as always, thanks, Mark. You've been a really good guest on the show.
Absolutely.
Really great to have a conversation. I think this is the longest episode we've ever had.
It's about 4 hours long now.
Editing this.
Yeah, exactly. We should build some AI into it where it just.
We didn't even talk about AI.
We didn't talk about.
Maybe that'll be in the bonus material.
Let's do it next time. Exactly. All right, mate. Really good to speak to you. Thank you very much for coming on.
Take
Cheers. Bye.